and threats. But to me, it's all the same idea. It's hey, this is how you get from step A to step B. But from here, that's the road that I can see. That is not going to help me in any way. And I'm not someone that advocates for halves. I look at it like running a marathon. Hello everyone, welcome back. In today's video, we're actually going to use something that gets thrown around a lot in the business world, but we're gonna use that for our personal lives. This might sound too corporate-y or suit and tie, but I love this in the business world, but I think it's also something we can use in our personal lives. So let's get straight into it. I've always noticed in the corporate world, if there is a leadership change or some change or someone's trying to do something differently, they usually do a gap analysis. And in marketing, there's SWOT analysis, which is strengths, weakness, opportunities, and threat. There's so many analyses that people do in the corporate world. And it got me thinking, why can't we do something for our lives that way too? But to me, it's all the same idea. Here's how I think about it. Here's where I am. Here's where I want to be, what's missing, and how do I bridge that gap? And I think honestly, it's one of the most powerful ways to look at your growth. I mean, we all have goals, right? Maybe you want to launch a side hustle. Maybe you want to become better at building your habits. Maybe you just want to stick to your morning routine for once. And the one thing I've learned these past couple of years is no one's going to come and give you a roadmap telling you, hey, this is how you get from step A to step B, from step B to step C, from step C to step D. Nobody's gonna do that for us. We're gonna have to figure it out. And here's how I imagine it. Imagine yourself stuck in a forest, trying to get from one part of the forest to the other, and there's a river going down, so you cannot really jump, so you need a bridge to cross that road. I like to call this one building my own bridge. For example, if you're really building that bridge, you would just think about the basics, right? I need 1, 2, 3 materials to build the bridge. You would not actually think about, is that bridge going to be pink or brown or blue or green? You're not going to think about that. You're just going to think about the basics. Maybe some wood, a rope, or maybe more than just one rope. I need something to anchor it. Just simple things, right? So keep that example in mind, and let's jump into my step-by-step process because I'm a framework girly. Let's get into step 1. All right, so first of all, figure out where you are at the moment. Ask yourself questions like, what am I good at right now? What am I struggling with? What behaviors are helping and which are just holding me back? This is where we have to get really, really, really honest with ourselves. It is not easy. You can fool everyone else, but you know exactly where you are. I can put this video out and then go to bed and then not go to the gym, right? But that is not going to help me in any way. So doing a gap analysis is about being completely honest with yourself. Nobody's watching, it's just you. You can do it, you're in a safe space. The reason I'm asking you to do this is because studies have actually shown, just do a quick Google research and it'll tell you that self-efficacy, basically doing a self-research, just a self-understanding, will actually boost the belief that you have in your own ability. In fact, Carol Dweck, the author of Mindset, said that in this reflection is where growth actually starts to happen. Okay, let's look at it this way. Let's say you have a jewelry shop and you actually want to sell something to someone. If you don't know what's in your shop, how are you going to sell it to them? Just imagine. Take control of your inventory. Step number 2 is define your ideal state. This is where you need to be very cautious about where you want to go. And I'm not someone that advocates for having a final destination and saying, this is where I want to be. After this, I don't know what my life is going to be. For me, it's always been about, I have multiple things I want to do, but this is step 1 to get to step 2, but I have to finish step 1 to get to step 2. How do I get to step 1? That is what I should think about, and that is the goal that I should work toward. For example, it's so easy to say, I want to be productive, but that is so vague, right? The clearer you are, the better you can figure out your steps to attain the first goal. You can have multiple goals, but you need to achieve the first goal to get to the second goal, and then on and on and on. We're talking about productivity here, so let's use that as an example. If you want to be productive, you're not supposed to say, I want to be productive. You're supposed to look at, this is how I look at it. I kind of would imagine a pie chart. How much of my time am I being productive? And what else am I actually doing with my time? Am I spending too much time scrolling on Instagram? Yeah, it's probably me. I'm not actually asking you to do a pie chart. I'm just saying in your mind, think about what you do on a day-to-day basis. Let's say you spend about 50% of your time on Instagram. Can you cut that down to 30% and then use the 20% to work on things that actually will get you closer to your goals? Think about it. And the reason I like having small milestones to get to my bigger goal is because This is where our reward system kind of activates in our brain. It's like before you go to the gym, you just hate it. You dread going to the gym. But once you're done at the gym, you're like, I'm gonna come tomorrow. This is great. But then the next morning, the same thing repeats. It's like, okay, I have to go to the gym. I do remember feeling better after the gym. So maybe if I just push myself and get myself to the gym, I might feel better. That is what the reward system does to you. So be very mindful of that. So I think it's very important for you to set small milestones that can help you get to your bigger goal. Now, step number 3, bridging the gap. Now we have our where am I? We have our where do I want to go? Now we have to actually build the bridge. Like I said before, you don't have to know if your bridge is going to look pink or blue or brown or black. You don't have to know any of those things. All you need to know is I need wood, I need rope, and I need something to anchor something, right? The bridge should be anchored to something. That is all you need to figure out. James Clear talked about this in his book Atomic Habits, where he says that small, tiny changes lead to big difference. Just like everyone, I'm also human. I get up in the morning and I go on my phone, which I didn't like, so I started charging my phone in the bathroom because the chances of me getting out of bed and going to the bathroom just to look at my phone is very minimal. I am not that bad yet. So I generally do that, but when I do go to the bathroom in the morning to brush my teeth, I end up playing my podcast first and then I brush my teeth. Okay, talking about habit stacking, talking about this is what James Clear said in his book, all of this sounds so easy. But the thing you need to understand is you actually have to get up and do it. That is the challenge. Watching this video is great. Thinking about ideas is great. Talking about it is great. Reading about it is great. But you just actually have to do it. That is the problem where we're all just kind of running in circles. This is why I like very, very, very specific, very small goals that can make me feel like I'm getting at least like 0.1% closer to where I need to be. For example, let's say that you have a goal to read a lot more books this year. 2025 is almost here. Let's take this into account. Let's say you want to read more books in 2025. One of the things I would focus on is not reading 30 pages a day, because people, for some reason, that's a standard, and I've also done that before, said that before. But I've learned that if you pick up your book and read at least 5 pages, just 5 pages, and if it's a long book, I would say probably 2 to 3 pages, this will make you feel like I actually did the thing I wanted to do today. And again, the reward system comes into play. What you do is the next day you pick it up, it doesn't seem like much. You're like reading 3 pages, maybe you like the story plot, maybe you want to keep reading, then you go to the 4th page, then you go to the 5th page. You should want to do things. You should want to do things. You shouldn't do things because you have to do them. There's this whole concept of you get to do things, which comes from a place of gratitude. But I think it's more important to want to do things. You should want to do something. I should want to film this video. I cannot film this video, sit down and cry and say this was so exhausting. I don't have to do this. I should want to do this. That is how sustainable habits are built. In short, what I'm trying to say is start with the smallest thing. Like, I will get up at 5 a.m. That's it. That is your only goal. Don't think about, I will get up at 5 a.m. I'll have lemon water. I'm going to brush my teeth. I'm going to do yoga. No. You're just going to wake up at 5 a.m. Now you know where you are. You know where you want to go. You've built the bridge. How do you know if it's going to stay that way and help someone else, or maybe even help yourself go back to the same forest that you were in? Think about it. This is where step 4 can be implemented, which is checking in and adjusting. It's crazy if you think you'll always have the same goals, because your goals might become bigger, they might become smaller, they might be split, they might get split into different ones. So it's always essential for you to come back and kind of think about, this is where I wanted to go, these are the things I've done, but this has taught me something else and I think I want to implement that too. How can I fit in, or what do I remove from the process to kind of make this work as well? One thing I will say is brain loves routine. When we do something consistently, when I know that I have to film a video at a certain time, my brain loves it. When I don't do it, it's constantly in panic mode. It's constantly like, you should have done that, you should have done that, you should have done that. It's better to just do it. This is why procrastination is so unhealthy. And I'm not saying I'm perfect. I do procrastinate a lot. But I think it's also important for us to understand the most stress we get is when we're not doing the thing we're supposed to be doing. And the best part of this whole process is you're doing self-reflection on a loop. There is no way you're escaping that. A lot of people shit on self-reflection. I honestly think it's one of the best ways for you to show up as the best version of yourself, not just for yourself, but also for others around you, but especially for yourself. I think it's super important for you to kind of have these self-improvement check-ins, or just like self-reflecting, like, hey, this is where I am. Is this getting me closer to where I want to be? Think about that. So that is my personal gap analysis. I love doing this. Let me know what you think about it. But again, it's about getting honest with where you are. What are you doing right now? Where do you want to be? How do I get there? After you get there, is there anything else I can improve? And then do another gap analysis. Gap analysis is super fun. Like I said, your bridge building process will differ. Maybe sometimes you're like, I want to color it. And that's totally fine. I don't know if a lot of people talk about it. They do in the business world, but I love it. So go grab a book, kind of sit down, or use ChatGPT to kind of help you with the gap analysis too. Or use a whiteboard, which is my favorite way of doing a gap analysis, to kind of just see like, hey, this is where I am, this is where I want to go, this is what I have to do. If you don't know what to do, just start with one thing. Okay, one of the most important points I do want to emphasize here is if you don't know how to build a bridge, like you don't even know that you need a wood to build the bridge, if you're in that state, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Just test out new things. Bring a stone, bring a leaf, bring a wood. That is how people learn. Or you can always ask someone. You can ask ChatGPT, you can ask Gemini, anything that can help you. Just find that one thing you need to achieve. That will be super helpful. So that is honestly all I had for today's video. I hope this was a little useful. If not, let me know. I'm always excited to learn about things like this, and I have no idea why I started doing this for my life. I just think it's one of the most important things you have to do. I don't like complaining a lot. I do complain. I don't like complaining a lot though. So this is kind of what I do. Like, okay, stop crying. You want to get there? What do you have to do? Do that. So that's kind of my method. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.